Miracle Star thought they could get away with blatantly copying Gumball, but instead, it epically backfired, leading to an abysmal 1.3 out of 10 rating on IMDb, the entire fanbase turning against them, and even a decline in goat milk sales. Absolutely horrible. This is the worst Chinese show ever made. The show's comedy is horrendously unfunny, the characters are really unlikable. I hate you, Mao Li Jing. Gumball is way better. I'll never ever like this show. Get in your stupid car and don't come back. Shame this series is a total ripoff of Gumball, with lots and lots of scenes entirely copied. Today, we're gonna be going over the satisfying downfall of Gumball's biggest copycat, Miracle Star, who ripped off the entire show and thought they could get away with it. But let's go back to the beginning when Miracle Star was first thought of as a concept in 2010. And the reason this whole abomination of a show was started in the first place was because Soyan Foods, one of China's biggest dairy companies, was looking for a big hit to promote its products. Around that same time, another show was on the rise, one that would soon make a huge impact on the animation world, with its lovable characters, humor, and unique blend of styles. The amazing world of Gumball was quickly getting eyes all over the world, and with the large amounts of bootlegs of popular shows, someone was eventually going to rip off Gumball. On December 10th, 2014, Miracle Star finally dropped, and it followed your average troublemaker and talking goat, Mao Li Jing, or Kiki for short, his pet frog, Guagua, and their two parents. Kiki would be the main character, taking Gumball's place, being the face of an entire milk brand. Guagua would take Darwin's spot as the sidekick, while their parents take the role of Richard and Nicole. But you won't find an Anais knockoff due to what some people say could be the former one-child policy, heavy censorship, or that boys were overall preferred over girls in China. No one truly knows, but we do know that the change wasn't about being less like Gumball, but more to fit China's rules and restrictions. Though that was just the tip of the iceberg when it came to the problems building up with Miracle Star. And right away, you can spot the next problem, the similarities. Kiki and Guagua look a lot like Gumball and Darwin, with the same round eyes, face shapes, and expressions. It's not just them, other characters like Masami, Bobber, and Leslie got copies too, showing that no Gumball character was safe. But it didn't end there. Miracle Star wouldn't stop at just copying Gumball's characters. It went as far as recreating entire scenes from the show, almost shot for shot. They even went on to copy the scene from Gumball's first episode.
But technically, you rented it with your money.
The money I have to go and earn to feed you kids.
The kids you decided to have.
Huh?
And this phone call scene too. And they even made their own version of Bobber, which I think is kind of funny. I could go over many more instances of this, but you get the point. It's like they weren't even trying to hide it and thought that because of the language barrier, they could get away with it. And those are just some of the many examples of Gumball being copied. Sometimes even entire plots would be taken with a new twist to make them seem original. But after a while of just straight up theft and copying Gumball word for word, the creators of Gumball would eventually take notice, and instead of going the boring legal route with lawyers and lawsuits, the team decided to have some fun with it, showing that when met with the opportunity, you should take it and make an entire episode about it. But another opportunity you should take is trying out today's sponsor, Cooper, because not using Cooper is basically like burning money while you shop online. Cooper is a free browser extension that finds and applies coupon codes automatically. Let me show you how it works. It's super simple. All you have to do is install the browser extension, and when you're at checkout, Cooper pops up with all the available coupons on whatever you're buying. Like right here on checkout when I was trying to buy a new camera. All you have to do is click apply coupons, and Cooper does the rest. It tests every single available code in seconds and applies the best ones for you. And look how much I ended up saving for literally doing nothing. And Cooper also gives you cash back at over over 70,000 different stores, like Walmart and Target, basically anywhere you shop. You can get your cash back through PayPal, gift card, or your bank. Just activate it before you check out. So yeah, while Miracle Star is getting torn to pieces by the internet, at least my wallet's thriving, thanks to today's sponsor, Cooper. So click the link in the description or the pinned comment right now and install Cooper for free. Smarter shoppers use Cooper. Now, back to the downfall of Miracle Star. And it only gets worse when the creators of Gumball decided to call out Miracle Star themselves. In the episode The Copycats, Gumball and Darwin make fun of strange items in the exotic food section, when their counterparts, Chi-Chi and Ribbit, appear and begin repeating what Gumball and Darwin had said. And after seeing the entire family, they discover their counterparts are Chinese TV stars that are profiting off them. They do get a little laughs from their counterparts' descriptions, all of them except for Anais, who feels left out because she doesn't have a doppelganger. After having a funny laugh about it, the families go head to head with the Copycats, having a pretty even fight, with each of them holding their own ground. That's when Anais points out that the Copycats aren't evil, they're just unoriginal, and the Watterson family breaks into an entire song to inspire them to be themselves.
Be your own you.
Be your own you.
Try something new.
Find your own things to do.
Copying is clearly theft. It's gonna lead to your arrest. Be your own you.
Which we all must have heard by now. And when that doesn't work, they start doing risky stunts, hoping they do the same and don't make it out alive, which eventually leads them to jumping on a burning truck heading towards an unfinished bridge. And just when it looks hopeless, Anais thinks of disconnecting the tank, stopping the truck. So who's laughing now? But without an Anais of their own, the Copycats crash, concluding their story once and for all. However, this wouldn't be the first time they showed calling out Miracle Star. On April 29th, 2017, the original storyboards for the Copycats episode actually showed Chi-Chi and his family in the Miracle Star forms. To avoid any potential lawsuit, the team had tweaked the design so they looked much more like the Gumball characters. But that wouldn't stop people from talking about and praising the episode, with how they made a bad situation into something adored by fans. The entire premise of making an episode based off a Chinese bootleg is great enough, but this was pure madness, and that's what makes it good. This episode exceeded my expectations. There was a song, a fight scene, a heartfelt yet enjoyable dark ending, and the Wattersons generally doing what they do best, Gumball at its finest. I love how they used the Copycats idea to its fullest and implemented Miracle Star's lack of Anais and its downfall. Always nice when a show acknowledges every Watterson has an important place in the family. After massive amounts of backlash and talk about the episode, Miracle Star would get called out for their copying, leading to many negative reviews and an IMDb rating of 1.3 out of 10. The highest score would only be a 3.5 out of 10 for an episode of Miracle Star that supposedly dealt with a lawsuit on, quote, against an inferior Western cartoon, which we all know is Gumball. Except it wasn't a real episode, and it just ended with your average lack of a show episode for Miracle Star, coming to its end on November 10th, 2017. But that didn't stop people from talking about it though. Years later, fans and YouTubers are still talking about it. It became a perfect example of how not to create a show, and Miracle Star's downfall needs to be studied. It relied almost entirely on copying scenes, jokes, and character designs from Gumball without adding anything meaningful of its own. The world fell flat, the characters lacked personality, and the stories were repetitive. Rather than taking inspiration and building something new, it just copied what other shows have been praised for. So Gumball had to step in and show them who the main character of the show really is. But now, where's the company that started it all? Soyan Foods. Despite all the news and humiliation, Soyan Foods is still dominating in in China, being one of China's biggest dairy industries. Even after a cartoon knockoff fiasco and years of ups and downs, the company still sits near $1 billion valuation. The same year Miracle Star ended, the company had a huge move. In 2017, they teamed up with Fusong International to buy the French margarine brand St. Hubert for about 625 million euros. The idea was to bring more premium, healthier foods into China and expand beyond just their usual products. As of now, in 2025, Soyon Foods is worth around 6.9 billion yen on the Shanghai Stock Exchange, which in the US, that would be $950 million. To put that in perspective, it's almost the same combined net worth of about 12,000 US households. Or imagine dropping nearly $1 billion into a giant vat of milk, since they love goat milk so much. That's how much we're talking about. So, while Miracle Star will go down in history as one of the worst cartoons ever, Soyon Food would manage to completely move on and leave what they probably would call a huge mistake in the past. Fun fact, YouTube isn't allowed in China, so if you're watching this in China, you should definitely hit that subscribe button and leave a comment. I wonder if anyone from China watches my videos.